You know that moment. You're trying to get something done. You click a link. You land on a page that feels off. The design is a little sloppy. The claims are a little too confident. There's a big button that says free, and you pause. You know you should slow down. You know you should look closer. But you also just want the thing to work. So you tell yourself, it's probably fine. I'll just try it. I can uninstall it later. Except, you already know better. We've all done this. Not because we're careless, but because friction wears down judgment. And most of the time, nothing bad happens, which is exactly why this keeps working. When we talk about tools, we're not talking about hardware. We're talking about how you engage with the digital world every day. Apps, services, browser extensions, platforms, and subscriptions. These tools sit between your intent and the outcome you get. They decide whether your day feels smooth or frustrating, whether systems behave predictably or fail when it matters, and whether technology quietly serves you or quietly shapes you. In the last episode, we talked about boundaries. This episode is about what happens inside those boundaries. Because once something is allowed in, you still have to decide whether it deserves your trust. Some of the best tools in the world are free. Open source tools, community-maintained tools, tools built by people who care deeply about how they behave. But there's another category of free. Free because your attention is monetized. Free because your behavior is tracked. Free because your data is the product. This is where subscriptions matter, not as a requirement, but as a signal. If a tool is free and ad-funded, it has to optimize for influence. If a tool is paid for directly, it can optimize for reliability, predictability, and trust. The difference isn't price, it's incentive. The most important question to ask about any tool is simple. Who benefits if I rely on this every day? Tools aren't accessories. They're how your intent actually touches the digital world. If you want efficiency, your tools either remove friction or create it. If you want reliability, they either behave consistently or surprise you. If you want power, they either amplify your choices or quietly constrain them. Good tools fade into the background. Bad tools demand forgiveness. Digital freedom isn't about disengaging. It's about choosing tools that work with your intent instead of exploiting it. Step 6 is about where curiosity starts. The place most of us touch the internet dozens of times a day without thinking about it. What it is. Search engines are where curiosity starts. Every question passes through them. The default today? Google on Chrome, Google on Android, Bing on Edge. Most people never chose this. It arrived pre-installed. The cost? Every search trains a profile. What you're curious about, what you worry about, what persuades you. Over time, search stops being neutral and starts shaping what you see. Why change? Privacy-focused search engines don't build behavioral profiles. They answer questions without logging your inner life. How you pivot. Change your default search engine to DuckDuckGo, Startpage, or Kaggle. It's usually a 1-minute setting change. How you feel the benefit. Search feels calmer, less manipulative, less like you're being subtly steered. Step 7 is about the system everything else depends on. The backbone of your digital identity. What it is. Email is the backbone of your digital identity. Everything eventually routes through it. The default today. Gmail. Bundled, convenient, everywhere. The cost. Your inbox becomes a behavioral sensor. Purchases, travel, relationships, life transitions. Even when ads aren't obvious, the data still feeds profiling systems. Why change? Privacy-first email providers encrypt messages so even they can't read them. Their business model depends on subscriptions, not surveillance. How you pivot. You don't delete Gmail. You open a private inbox. You forward Gmail into it. You gradually move important accounts over. How you feel the benefit. Email feels private again. Less noise, less psychological pressure, more trust. Step 8 is about damage control. Not paranoia, just resilience. What it is. Email aliasing lets you give each website a unique email address that still delivers to your real inbox. To you, everything arrives in one place. To the internet, each service only knows its own address. The default today? One email address, used everywhere, or a forgotten throwaway Yahoo or Gmail account you barely check. The cost. When one service leaks your email, spam and tracking spread everywhere. Throwaway accounts don't fix this. They just create another inbox to ignore. Why change? Aliasing replaces that pattern. Each service gets its own address. If one gets abused, you turn it off. Nothing else breaks. And it's not just cleaner, it's more secure. Now a breach doesn't expose both your password and your login name across every service. Failure stops cascading. Where to start? Look for email aliasing services. Privacy-focused email providers with aliases built in. Password managers that include aliasing. You don't need the best one, just one that lets you create and disable aliases easily. How you pivot. Next time a site asks for your email, use an alias instead of your real address. How you feel the benefit? Spam feels optional. Breaches feel contained. Your inbox stays clean, and you stay in control. That single addition does a lot of work. Reinforces real security value, not just convenience. Ties aliasing directly to password hygiene. Makes the step feel worth doing, not optional. Step 8 now punches above its weight. Step 9 fixes one of the largest invisible leaks in modern digital life. What DNS is? DNS is the Internet's phonebook. Before anything loads, your device asks a DNS server where a site lives. That lookup happens every single time you go online. The default today? Whatever DNS your internet provider assigns, automatically and silently. The cost? Your DNS provider can see every site you attempt to visit, even when pages are encrypted. Many ISPs log this. Some sell it. Some filter it. You didn't agree to this, but it's happening. Why change? Privacy-focused DNS providers are designed not to watch you. Their job is routing traffic, not observing behavior. This one change closes a massive, invisible data leak. How you pivot. Change your DNS once, on your phone, computer, or router. No apps to open, no habits to change. How you feel the benefit. Less silent observation. Fewer creepy coincidences. More confidence on public Wi-Fi. It's boring, which is exactly why it's powerful. Step 10 is about the spaces where real relationships live. What it is. Messaging tools carry relationships, not just words. The default today. SMS, iMessage, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger. The cost? Even when messages are encrypted, metadata often isn't. Who you talk to, when, how often, and from where still gets collected. Relationships become data. Why change? Signal is open source, independently audited, and non-profit funded. It's designed to know as little as possible about content and context. How you pivot. You don't move everyone. You invite one or two close people. Let's use Signal for real conversations. How you feel the benefit. Conversations feel quieter, more present, less performative. This isn't about perfection. It's about moving from thoughtless defaults to intentional choices. You stop asking, what's easiest right now? And start asking, what will still work when I'm tired, distracted, or under pressure? That's how tools become leverage. The tools we choose shape our experience of the world. But the tools chosen for us quietly narrow that experience until it fits the agenda of the people who put them there. Every technology company understands this. They know the hardest moment isn't winning you over. It's replacing what you already use. Incumbency is power. That's why so many tools are free, why they come pre-installed, why they're framed as defaults, not decisions. It's not generosity, it's strategy. And most of the time, we don't notice the cost, not because it's small, but because it's quiet. There is extraordinary technology out there right now. Tools built by people who care deeply about craftsmanship. Systems designed to respect attention instead of exploit it. We don't avoid them because they're bad. We avoid them because we never tried them. Power isn't knowing every setting. It isn't chasing the newest thing. It isn't disappearing from the digital world. Power is knowing the tools you rely on work for you, not on you. That they amplify your intent instead of reshaping it. Next, we'll talk about infrastructure. Not as servers and cables, but as trust, ownership, and location. Because once you start choosing your tools consciously, the next question becomes unavoidable. Where does my digital life actually live? And who controls it when I'm not looking? That's where sovereignty stops being an idea and starts becoming real. This is AI Security Report. Subscribe, stay aware, and stay ahead of the machines.